All right, the date is July 5th, 2024, and I'm going to be talking about getting a Class M1 motorcycles permit. For me, because I'm a Class A driver, it was easier for me to wait until my license needed renewal. If you have a Class A or even a Class C, it may be ideal for you to wait until you need a renewal, so that way you don't have to take the other test. If you have a Class A, there's multiple tests that take a lot of time studying for and getting that. So if you wait for your renewal, you can renew your license and then only add that endorsement to your license without having to take everything again. The Class M is not actually as hard as you would think. I was kind of anticipating it to be a lot more difficult, but it actually wasn't as crazy as I thought it was going to be. Pretty much all I used for passing my test is just watching YouTube videos. Not watching, but kind of sort of listening and watching while I was driving and commuting to work and back. I found some of these to be super helpful and some of these not so helpful at all. This one right here is the Street Academy playlist for your ACE, your California DMV motorcycle written permit test. Part 1 through, I guess, 9. I guess there's 9 of them. So that's a good way to just go through all the questions. Most of the stuff that you're going to learn in the book is covered in these questions, and if you don't have the leisure of being able to actually sit down and read, even though this is only actually, 51 pages, it's not even that thick, it doesn't take that long to get through, but it may be more convenient to just watch the videos and stuff while you're driving or waiting in the break room at work or whatever. The one channel that I didn't find super helpful was this DMV Advantage one. The reason I watched these was because it was uploaded 3 weeks ago, and I had thought that maybe there was something new on the test, but I don't believe anything had changed. And a lot of the questions on here just weren't helpful, and they weren't similar at all to the ones that I was given while actually taking the test. This one here, J4Y traffic, this guy did some pretty decent videos on just super simple. But if you spend enough time just watching these videos, then when you go in to take the test, I think it's only 20 to 25 questions depending on which one you get. It will really just help those answers come to mind really quickly. You can get on the DMV website and go to driver's education and safety, and then sample driver's license knowledge test. Hit that guy. Go down, there's your Class C in all languages, motorcycle driver Class M licenses. And you can get the PDF of the handbook on here, and then also a couple practice tests. And then the other website that was actually way more helpful for me was this one right here, DMV practice tests. And you just go to motorcycles. And this one here has 16 different practice tests. If you go through these and you ace all of them, then you're totally ready to go into the DMV and just blast through the test. I had studied and practiced these tests multiple times, and then when I went to the DMV and did it, I was just like, holy cow, this is way easier than I thought it was going to be. Not a challenge at all. I would say if you've spent 2 hours doing this, you're probably good enough to pass the test. 75% of the questions are just going to be basic knowledge stuff, like what's the clutch do? It's like, well, if you know anything about anything, you know what a clutch does. But there's like 25% of the questions are actually technical. You'll actually need to know the answers to. So run through these and you should be golden. Okay, so when I went to the DMV, I waited there for over 2 hours. That's just because I know you can do like the registration and all that for whatever you're gonna do at the DMV, but I didn't feel like making a DMV account just for going in and renewing my license. While you're at the DMV, if you're doing it like I did for renewing your license and not just adding a Class M middle of the time while your license is still good, you're going to need to get your photo taken. And also something kind of interesting that they required of me is to have a proof of address. So when you go in, it's probably a good idea to just have some envelopes from your mail that have your address on it. I just took a medical bill. I don't think it has to be anything specific. I took a medical bill and a phone bill, and the medical bill worked just fine. So after you get your thumbprint and your everything done, then you'll go to a computer and they'll have you take the test. And if you've studied for it for a couple hours, you should be able to just blow right through it. Nothing too crazy on there. And then you will get your permit. Now, with the permit that you receive, it is good for 1 year. Expires July 5th, 2025. It's good for 1 year. But if you're renewing your Class A or Class C, then you will have 60 days, a 60-day temporary license on your Class C or Class A. So you can request another temporary a couple times. I think you can do it 2 more times. But obviously for getting your regular license back, even though your permit's good for a year, you're still going to want to get it done before the 60 days, so you don't have to extend your temporary paper license for your Class A or Class C. So once you get your motorcycle permit, plan on taking the class or going to the DMV and taking the test like as soon as you can, so you don't have to deal with other hassles. So from the other people that I know, the other friends that I have that have a Class M endorsement on their license that ride motorcycles frequently, say that taking a class and getting the certificate and then going to the DMV and having them give you your license is a whole lot better than just taking the test at the DMV, because apparently the classes actually teach you a lot of real life important safety stuff about riding that you may not learn just by reading the stupid little handbook and doing all that stuff. So I'm going to take the class hopefully in the next couple weeks and be able to actually get my license, so I don't have to renew this temporary. And then also, once you get your permit, there's a couple restrictions on there. You can't practice at dark, you can't practice on the freeways, and you can't carry passengers. So you're kind of restricted to just running around town in the daytime without taking anybody with you, which honestly kind of makes sense. And then once you take your class, they will send you a certificate, and then you will take your permit and your receipt back to the DMV and the certificate that they give you, and then they will give you your license, and then at some point they will send you a new license in the mail. The total amount of charges that it cost me today to do the license renewal with the Class M endorsement added was $58. So not too terrible, but obviously not too nice either. All right, hopefully that was helpful to somebody. Thank you. Have a good one.